Hey everyone, just it's Autobot Sonic again. But before this video begins, I think you all deserve to know like why I guess this year has been so empty, I guess, in terms of updates from me. Truth be told, with the whole C virus, coronavirus, COVID, I don't know if I get demonetized for saying it, fuck it, I'm just gonna say COVID. Because COVID just and other stuff, this really hasn't been a good year for me, just like, and not just like, not because of YouTube. I mean, like, it's not like I've been unmotivated to, well, that's not true. Actually, I haven't been motivated to do YouTube, really. Like, I had such big plans for this year going into it after I finished my Let's Play with The Walking Dead the final season, but because of COVID and some other things, just personal stuff, I just haven't been in the best mindset to really make YouTube videos. And so I put out like one video maybe like once a month for the past couple months now, and it just hasn't been. And on top of that, I've had several errors with like equipment that have just made me feel less and less motivated. But with Tell Me Why now coming out in just 3 days, I feel like maybe this is the boost I need to get back into making YouTube. So for as far as the plan is to occur on YouTube, you are currently watching this video right now on everything you need to know about Tell Me Why. And after that, of course, I'll be doing a Let's Play of Tell Me Why that I'll be uploading to on this channel. And then for anyone who's wondering, on the 30th, I will be uploading the first episode of my review of the Transformers War for Cybertron Netflix series. Where we go from there, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll put out another video once I finish my Tell Me Why and Transformers review video series, see what happens next. But we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, thanks for the little rambling. I'm sorry haven't really been doing anything this year. It's just I'm not gonna lie, this has probably been the shittiest year for my YouTube so far. Not saying that that YouTube's been doing bad. I'm so grateful for all you guys. It's just me personally, this has been the most unmotivated I have been. So I'm sorry that it just seems like I've dropped off the face of the earth. I'm okay, everyone. Don't worry. Just as far as YouTube goes, just I haven't really been feeling it. But I'm hopefully trying to make it back to it. So sorry for all the rambling, and hope you guys enjoy the video. Hello everyone, and I'm Autobot Sonic the Telltale Gamer, bringing latest and everything Telltale games, Transformers, and more. So I know it has been quite a very long time since I've had a proper video like this that isn't a fan trailer or just another update of me saying I'm back. But hopefully this time, me being back, I'll be back for quite a while this time. So yeah, anyways, for this episode of Everything You Need to Know, we are going to be discussing everything you need to know about Tell Me Why, which is a brand new episodic game from Dontnod Entertainment, the creators of the Life is Strange franchise, with Chapter 1 coming out in just 3 days. Now, unlike most other narrative adventure games, episodic games we've had in the past, whether it be either the seasons of Life is Strange Before the Storm, or hell, any Telltale game for that matter, they've always had their episodes spaced out like months in advance. Like, Life is Strange 2 took about a year and a half for them to finish. They started episode 1 in September of 2018. We didn't get episode 5 until December of the following year. But fortunately, Dontnod seems to have learned from that, and that Tell Me Why will be 3 episodes or chapters long, and it will be released over the course of 3 weeks. So 3 days from now, Chapter 1 is coming out, and then a week after that, we get Chapter 2, and the week after that, Chapter 3. Now, that is a style of, I guess, episodic release that I can get behind. I'm glad they're doing it like this instead of just, having to, just getting all the episodes at once, because I feel like it might just be me because I'm weird, but I'm not a big fan of binging. Or if I am a fan of binging, I don't want it to be like Netflix where you get all the episodes at once. I'd rather be like Disney Plus where you get 1 episode a week, because I just think that drags that out. I like dragging stuff out, and it helps speculate about what's gonna happen in the next episode and so on. So yeah, Tell Me Why is the latest game from Dontnod Entertainment and is one of 2 games they have been working on since they finished Life is Strange 2. And the other game is another game that has yet to be properly revealed, called Twin Mirror. And I mean, we've seen a bunch of trailers and maybe a little bit of gameplay of it, but we don't have a like concrete release date on that one yet. Tell Me Why, though, is Dontnod's main concern right now, and that is coming out August 27th to Xbox One and PC through the Steam and Windows stores. So, what exactly is Tell Me Why about, and what are we going to be talking about in this video? Well, now Tell Me Why has been a thing. We've known about this for almost a year now. I think Dontnod announced it back at E3 last year, and they said it was going to be 3 episodes released over the course of summer 2020, which, of course, well, now it's almost fall, but whatever. So, anyway, it's 3 episodes long, or chapters, and it revolves around the stories of 2 siblings and twins, Tyler and Allison Ronan, and the story will be about them returning to their, first off, meeting for the first time, reuniting for the first time in, 10, 15 years or so, and it will be about them exploring their childhood home, learning about their troubled past, and what exactly that is, the supernatural bits of pieces of this story, we're going to get into in this video. So, in this video, we'll be discussing the very recent Tell Me Why launch trailer. Not going to go over any of the world premiere stuff and all that happened months ago, because I just want to talk about the recent stuff. And then we'll also be going over a little fact answer question sheet that Dontnod put up, basically explain a lot of trigger warnings, and they give some slight spoilers into the plot of Tell Me Why. So if you want to go into Tell Me Why completely blind, do not watch this video, because it will contain minor spoilers for all 3 chapters of Tell Me Why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So before we dive into the actual trailer of Tell Me Why, I think I might as well go ahead and read basically the overall about section that Dontnod has put on the official Tell Me Why website for anyone who still doesn't know exactly what Tell Me Why is, other than the fact that it's made by the same people who made Life is Strange. So first off, I want to make it clear that, first off, as far as we know, Tell Me Why is not Life is Strange 3. It may play and feel like a Life is Strange game, but as far as we know, it doesn't seem like it's set in the Life is Strange universe. Now, this could just be a big secret that Dontnod could be keeping, that maybe by the end of the game we'll find out that, this game is in the Life is Strange universe, and that Allison and Tyler will be the main characters of Life is Strange 3, similar to how, Chris in the All-Spencer's Cabin Spirit appeared in Life is Strange Season 2. But, and it could, because that reminds me a lot of, Control recently, which is a game that I'm a big fan of, and basically, Remedy Entertainment, the makers of Control, basically marketed that game as its own thing, only to find out when the game came out that it's basically a sequel to Alan Wake, which is a game that came out 10 years ago, and one of my favorite games ever. So Dontnod may be doing something similar here, which Tell Me Why may be Life is Strange 3, but more than not, I'm probably just reading into it too much, and that Tell Me Why is its own standalone story in its own world, different from the Life is Strange world. So enough of that, let's go ahead and read the official summary that Dontnod has uploaded about Tell Me Why. Tell Me Why is the latest narrative adventure from Dontnod Entertainment, the studio behind the beloved Life is Strange franchise. In this intimate mystery, reunited twins Tyler and Allison Ronan use their special bond to unravel the memories of their loving but troubled childhood. Set in the fictional town of Delos Crossing, Alaska, Tell Me Why features a cast of intriguing, true-to-life characters and mature themes. As you interact with memories of the past, you will make choices that determine the strength of the unique bond that Tyler and Allison share and shape the future course of the twins' lives. So, of course, that begs the question, and just who exactly are these Tyler and Allison Ronan that we are going to be spending the entirety of this game with? And Tyler and Allison will be the main characters, I'll tell you why. We will be playing as both twins, as far as I'm aware, and a lot of, basically one of the biggest selling points about this game, and that Dontnod has been sure to talk a lot about with its mature themes, is the fact that Tyler is a transgender man, and that is a really big step, in my opinion, for Dontnod, as we have, for the first time, as far as I know, in a big AAA developer almost, like Dontnod, to have them put a transgender character as one of the 2 main characters of a video game. I think that is a very good step in the right direction. Now, of course, seeing transgender characters in video games is no big thing. We've seen that happen a lot recently with, most notably in The Last of Us 2, when we had Lev, who was one of, in my opinion, the best characters of The Last of Us 2. I absolutely loved Lev. Thought he was one of the best characters of the entire game. But to see one of the actual main characters, and that's not saying Lev was a main character. Lev was a really big part of The Last of Us 2. But to see one of the actual characters that we, as a player, play as a transgender man, I think that's a cool thing to do, especially for potential like transgender gamers who may want a playable character they can relate to. And I think that that's cool that Tell Me Why will be not just having a transgender character for the sake of having a transgender character, but integrate their story in a fluid and natural way into a story that doesn't make it feel forced. So, rounding out our cast for Tell Me Why, we currently only know the actors playing our two main characters, Allison and Tyler. Allison, first off, is played by Erica Lindbeck, who's done a lot of stuff in both TV shows and video games. Most notably, you may recognize her as the voice of Black Cat in Insomniac Spider-Man, Futaba in Persona 5, Windblade in Transformers Robots in Disguise, Luna in the YouTube series Hell of a Boss, or also Cassie Cage in Mortal Kombat 11, or Blaze the Cat as the newest voice of Blaze in the Sonic the Hedgehog series. And so seeing her come to voice Allison, I'm really looking forward to, because I'm a big fan of her work as both Windblade and Cassie Cage in Mortal Kombat 11. And then rounding up Tyler is August Aiden, who really doesn't have that many credits to his name aside from a short film that he was in. So playing Tyler will be August's first real main role in basically a video game or anything for that matter. And it's interesting because Dontnod is clearly stressing how much they want to be like serious about like their trans representation and all that. So August Aiden, Tyler's voice actor, is in fact a transgender man as well. So I think that's really cool that we're not just having some big voice actor just play like a transgender character and not have it feel genuine. Having an actual transgender person playing a transgender character, I think, is something that should be the norm in not just video games, but just entertainment as a whole. And it's nice to see that seems to be the focus, the norm going forward, I should say. So basically, yeah, Tell Me Why, it will focus around both Tyler and Allison. They reunite for the first time in like 10 years or so, I don't know. And it's about them trying to relearn their past. And what exactly is their past? Well, I think I have an idea of what it's going to be about, but we'll go ahead and talk more about that in this fact that Dontnod posted. So they posted a little thing that says, what is the story of Tell Me Why? And we're not going to go over the entirety of this fact right now. We'll go to that, come back to the rest of it after we talk about the trailer, but I thought I might as well just talk about the story right here. So the starting question on the fact that Dontnod stresses does contain mild spoilers to Tell Me Why is, what is the story of Tell Me Why? Tell Me Why is a story of two twins, Allison and Tyler Ronan, who reunite for the first time in 10 years after their mother's death. Upon returning to their childhood home in rural Alaska, the Ronans realize that their shared past may not be as they remember it. So there we go. We now have our basically the plot summary of Tell Me Why. It's going to be about Tyler and Allison. They meet for the first time in 10 years, and it's going to be about them apparently trying to figure out how their mother died during their childhood, which it doesn't seem like a big deal, but knowing how this is Dontnod, that could make incredible stories with the Life is Strange franchise. We have a girl solving a murder mystery while stopping her town from being destroyed by a tornado, or two brothers making their way across America to try and get to Mexico after being framed for a cop's death. That, I think, to see those Dontnod tackle such big stories and then have them go to something a lot smaller, just like there's no big stakes in this, really. It's just, as far as I know, I should say, it just seems like, oh, so it's just two people trying to figure out how their mother died. It's no big grand conspiracy that we're doing, but who knows? Maybe, I think Dontnod, based on how well they do large-scale stories, it'd be nice to see Dontnod go out of their comfort zone and do something a lot smaller scale and see how they do that. And then, for any of you who are unsure if this game will play like a Life is Strange game, Dontnod puts those worries to rest with their next question: what is the gameplay of Tell Me Why? They respond with, Tell Me Why is a narrative adventure with a strong focus on its characters. The gameplay is anchored around the Bond, a unique link between the Ronan twins that allows them to revisit their memories. Players will use the twins' supernatural bond as one of many ways to find out the truth of the events surrounding their mother's death. The choices the player makes with the bond will influence Tyler and Allison's relationship for better or for worse, as well as alter the course of the game through branching dialogue and dramatic actions. So already it has a big Life is Strange vibe to it, in the fact that we have a sort of a superpower that we'll be utilizing in our adventures with these puzzles, because every Life is Strange game, with the except, well, even Before the Storm kind of did with its backtalk mechanism. Every Life is Strange game has had some sort of gimmick that's basically like meant to improve on it or build on the basic narrative adventure formula. With Season 1, we had the rewind mechanic, which helped a lot with conversation puzzles and even environmental puzzles as well. In Before the Storm, we had the backtalk thing, which could help a lot with basically it rewarded players for exploring their environments and then using that environment to get more information out of characters around you. And then with Season 2, how the bond between Sean and Daniel's telekinetic powers were used to sort of like think about alternate ways to surpass like other like some like both dialogue based and environment based puzzles that you may not really think about how to do it like otherwise with Daniel's powers. There you may think of Sonic one way, but you have Daniel, this kid who may or may not help you based on how you treat him, and also has his telekinetic powers who could help you in a certain way. So to see Dontnod continue that sort of gimmick formula with this unique bond mechanic that Tell Me Why has, I think is really cool. And basically, it's nice to see, like, it kind of has a time travel mechanic like Life is Strange Season 1 feel to it, but I'm excited to see, like, how, like, this be, like, does Tyler have the power? Does Allison the power? Are they both able to share the memories? Or maybe they both have different versions of the memories that we have to explore and find out which version is the true memory. So, but whatever how it goes, I'm really looking forward to it. So enough about that now. We are finally going to be going into the Tell Me Why Chapter 1 launch trailer that was released about a month ago. So for any of you who've not seen it yet, I'm just gonna shut up and play the trailer to one time for all you guys in case you haven't seen it yet.
Whoa, I just got hit with a flood of memories.
Love you, Mom.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Mom?
Allison?
Yeah. It doesn't matter that they don't believe us.
We all believed that what happened that night was self-defense. But we couldn't be sure.
It doesn't matter that they kept us apart.
Brother, sister, we look out for each other.
It doesn't matter that finding the truth feels impossible.
We're all done with fairy tales.
The only thing that matters is you're my brother. And the only way to move forward, Mom, is to keep looking back.
Mom!
We've been getting these visions whenever we see or hear something really emotional. Everything we thought we knew about Marianne just got thrown out the window. She loved you.
She attacked you. We both saw it.
I thought coming here would be closing a chapter of our lives.
Nothing good comes from stirring up old memories.
We don't really have a choice about that.
There's always a choice, son.
I can't do this. Stop!
So the trailer starts off with Tyler and Allison. I assume this must be when they probably first return to the to their childhood home. We see it seems like Tyler and Allison experience some sort of like strong like memory or something that they experience, because as we hear later on in this trailer, Tyler explains that apparently that they both, him and Allison, have this sort of memory bond thing that is going to be the gimmick of Tell Me Why, and that they can see visions of the past whenever they hear or see something that triggers a strong emotional response from them. So again, it's kind of weird. I can't help but feel like this is Life is Strange 3, considering how every single like use of like every single supernatural power has been awakened through some sort of strong emotional response. In Life is Strange Season 1, Max had unlocked her time travel abilities or time rewind abilities, by seeing Chloe get shot by Nathan. In Life is Strange 2, Daniel unlocked telekinetic powers by watching his dad get killed by the cop. So, and now Tyler and Allison, they are able to go back in time, so say, or see visions of the past whenever they see or hear something that causes a very strong emotional reaction out of them. So I'm interested to see, like, what are the triggers for this power, basically, and how they come into play. If they force themselves to do stuff, that just comes more naturally. But anyway, as Tyler and Allison are talking about this, we see a couple of flashbacks of just like happy times. We see one of Allison and Tyler pre-transition, just playing on a couch together and eating breakfast with their mom, who gives off really mixed vibes throughout this this trailer. Like, sometimes you see like she's really caring towards both Allison and Tyler, but at the same time, there's something weird, like something weird like beneath the surface. So I'm interested to see where that goes. And as they're doing this, we see this one shot of a young Tyler. I assume this is post-transition based on his appearance. He's goes up to his mom in a shed, and then she just whips around like really shocked, holding a shotgun, knocking over like a bare can full of ammo in the process. And it really seems to imply that like maybe Tyler and Allison's mom wasn't like supportive of Tyler's transition. Maybe like this is some sort of transphobic story that Tyler's mom tried to kill Tyler because maybe she thought him wanting to become a man was like some sort of weird satanic thing or something. And just like, I was really worried that's what it was at first when I first saw the trailer. I was really worried that that's the reason why Tyler's mom died, and that maybe Tyler just ended up killing his mom in self-defense because she was trying to kill him for that reason. And so as that happened, as we see later on in this trailer, and thanks to the fact that Dontnod posted on the official TNY website, this is fortunately not the case. So after another shot, we see a shot of Tyler, young Tyler, I should say, alone in a police station with Allison in the present day, narrating, saying that doesn't matter if they don't believe us. And then we hear like a cop, who I presume is talking to Tyler here, explaining that everyone believes that Tyler killed his mom in self-defense, even though it doesn't seem like that's what Allison and Tyler think happened. Because the way it goes, we see another we get another shot of a young Tyler running through the Alaskan woods in rain, being chased by his mom, and like you can see her like going to take aim at him, so she's clearly trying to kill him. But I thought it was because because she didn't support him transitioning. That's what I really thought it was going to be, like that. And I didn't want it to be like that because we already have enough like transphobic like characters in the world. We don't need like a story about that like, oh, that Tyler's mom wanted to kill Tyler because she thought, oh, him wanting to transition was a bad thing. No, that's stupid. So I'm really glad Dontnod's not going that direction, as we see in this next shot of Tyler walking out of this building while Allison says, it doesn't matter if they kept us apart. Now, I wasn't quite sure what this meant, but thankfully, after having watched a little video where YouTuber Dom the Bomb had gotten a special like letter, in-universe letter from Tyler to Allison explaining the situation prior to the events of Tell Me Why, we learned that apparently after Tyler supposedly killed his and Allison's mom, he was apparently institutionalized into this like basically into this school called Firewood, which is basically kind of like, it's a real life school in Alaska that's apparently like the if you remember the in Walking Dead the final season, the Erickson boarding school for troubled youth, that's literally what this was. It was a boarding school for troubled children. So apparently Tyler's been reforming in there for the past 10 years, and this is the first time they're finally letting him out so that he can see Allison. And so as we can see how like eager Allison is to hug Tyler as they reunite in this shot, and then we see a bunch more flashback shots here of Allison and Tyler, who I assume looks more post-transition based on his haircut compared to the first one we had of them jumping on the couch together. And it's mostly just like the only other really big important things that come out of this trailer are towards the end of it. The rest of the trailer after that is pretty much just random, like filler stuff, basically nothing really important. The most important thing comes toward like the last minute of the trailer, in which we see like an example of the bond play out for the first time. We see Tyler looking out a window before he's like, we hear like an echo of what sounds like either a younger Allison or Tyler behind him. And as he looks around, he and Allison stare at like this see-through, very spectral looking image of who I assume to be looks like a young Tyler pre-transition crying. And basically we hear Tyler explaining what I mentioned at the beginning of this trailer analysis, that basically how their power, their bond works, and that Allison and Tyler both clearly see this younger version of who I assume is Tyler crying, and that explaining that their power works by they see visions into the past whenever they see or hear something that causes them a great emotional impact to them. And as we see here, we see what looks like to be how Tyler and Allison can interact with these bonds as Tyler goes to touch the image of his younger self, or who I assume is his younger self. It might be a younger Allison too, but to me, I think it's a younger Tyler. After that, the most important thing here, I think, in the entire trailer comes towards the very end, is right here when we see Tyler and Allison walking up to their mother's grave, Marianne. And the interesting thing here is that Tyler refers to his mother as Marianne. He doesn't call her mom or anything, just calls her Marianne. So that obviously means that Tyler and relationship with his mom is very strained. And that leads me to believe that, so yeah, Marianne did try to kill Tyler, but not for transphobic reasons. Why did Marianne try to kill Tyler? And was it Tyler that killed Marianne, or was it someone else? Because everyone seems to think that it was Tyler that killed her, because as we see Allison, or presumably Allison, talking to this woman, talking about how her and Tyler's mom loved them. But then we cut back to Allison talking to Tyler, and Allison's almost talking to Tyler in like an accusatory tone, saying that she attacked you, we all saw it. So yeah, it seems like even Allison believes that Tyler killed their mom in self-defense, but she seems I don't think she seems like angry at the fact that he killed her, but that she feels that he's justified in killing her. As we see that, as she explains this, we even see like a shot of Marianne in a flashback looking unsure or something as she walks out of Tyler and Allison's bedroom, and we see a young Allison watching her as the door closes. And then as there like a little more stuff of just Tyler and Allison looking through like their old home, Tyler crawling through a tunnel under their house, we get like the very last like 5 to 10 seconds of this trailer are the most important to me. So at the very end of the trailer, after we see what looks like Tyler and Allison jumping back into another bond thing, where we see a young Tyler and Allison with Tyler post-transition saying, I can't do this. What they're talking about, we don't know. But then right after that, we see this really, really spectral, creepy looking like witch spirit or something just ominously staring at the screen, and it's got the same echo to it like the bonds we saw earlier of Tyler interacting with his younger self. So does this mean that the bond is tied to some sort of supernatural force that maybe possessed Allison? Maybe we're dealing, because Dontnod confirmed that they are working closely with local Alaskans and like Tibetan people to try and tell an authentic story. So what if they're going into like Alaskan folklore and trying to go up with a possession story? Maybe some evil spirit that Tyler and Allison accidentally took over, that woke up. Maybe that spirit took over Tyler and Allison's mom's body and then tried to kill Tyler. Maybe that's why, because we know for a fact now it was not, Marianne did not try to kill Tyler because she was transphobic. And even says that in the fact. I'll go over 2 quick facts right here. The first one says, tell me why is set in rural Alaska, a region of the world that's home to many indigenous communities. What steps did Dontnod and Xbox take to ensure that its representation of Alaska native culture is respectful? Dontnod respond, Tlingit culture is a key part of Tell Me Why story and scenery. Our partners at the Huna Heritage Foundation have been integral in our goal to portray these elements respectfully and responsibly. They also informed many other aspects of the game, including atmospheric sounds, Tlingit language pronunciation and spelling verification, and information on customs such as funerary rites. We also commissioned Huna Tlingit artisans to create the many Tlingit objects, murals, and designs that appear in the game, and then they link to a blog post of some of that commissioned work. In trailers and screenshots, we have revealed 2 Tlingit characters who will appear in Tell Me Why. One is Michael Abila, Allison's co-worker and best friend, and the other is Eddie Brown, the police chief of Delos Crossing. We look forward to players learning more about these characters when they play the game. And then finally, in the next one that I think is very important, and it's marked spoilers, was Tyler's mother transphobic? Now again, before I answer this and read what they say, do not watch this if you don't want to be spoiled, but I don't think it's because she's transphobic. As Dontnod says here to the question, was Tyler's mother transphobic? Dontnod says no. Tyler's mother, Marianne Ronan, was not transphobic. In Chapter 1, Tyler and Allison will discover that their mother had been taking steps to learn how to support her transgender child. So there we go. We know officially now that Marianne did not try to kill Tyler for transphobic reasons, which I am very, very happy with. But the question is then, if she didn't try to kill Tyler for transphobic reasons, why did she try to kill Tyler? And that is something I'm really excited to find out by playing this game. And just in case anyone is wondering if any transphobia will happen and tell me why, I'll feel free to answer those right now. So first off, this is a problem a lot of people have with The Last of Us 2 with Lev being dead named. They mention in the fact, is Tyler's birth name or dead name used in this game? Dontnod responds, no, you will not learn Tyler's birth name and tell me why. In flashback scenes, players will hear sometimes young Tyler called Ollie. Ollie, though, was the first name Tyler chose for himself and liked it because he was similar to Allison's nickname, Allie. So there we go. So in flashbacks, we may hear Tyler be called Ollie instead of Tyler, but that is not Tyler's birth name and is instead just a nickname he came up with himself to make him feel more like his sister, Allison. And along with that, they also ask in the fact, does Tell Me Why depict any transphobia against Tyler? Dontnod responds, in Chapter 1, Tyler will face some ignorant comments and microaggressions from a few people in Delos Crossing, family friends who knew and cared about Tyler 10 years ago, but who have not seen him since his transition. By Chapter 2, though, all characters in Tell Me Why will interact respectfully with Tyler and without microaggressions. Tyler will never be referred by his birth name. So there we go. We know, so aside from some ignorant comments and microaggressions in Chapter 1, there will be no transphobia in Tell Me Why, which I think is a nice breath of fresh air, because yes, of course, transphobia is a thing a lot of people trans people suffer with in the world, and a lot of stories involving trans people do depict transphobia, but it's nice to see, and I'm not saying that that transphobia in a trans story is bad, but it's nice to see Dontnod attempt to tell a story without any transphobia. Going on to that, Dontnod also asks in the fact, did Tyler transition as a result of his childhood trauma? Dontnod responds, no. As players explore the Ronan twins' childhood home, they will discover memories and sentimental objects which depict the ways Tyler expressed himself as a boy even before his mother's death. The idea that being transgender is caused by trauma is a stereotype that has no basis in fact and will play no role in Tyler's story. And so, yeah, there we go. That's pretty much like everything revolving, like, if you're worried about any transphobia showing up and Tell Me Why. And Dontnod has confirmed that, like, aside from some small microaggressions in Chapter 1, no, there will be no transphobia. Tyler's mom didn't try to kill him for transphobic reasons. No characters are going to act intentionally transphobic towards Tyler. So it's all good from there. And I'm eager to see what Dontnod does with it in that. But anyway, literally, there's not much else other than that except this very last scene, which looks to be, Tyler's and Allison's mom, Marianne, back inside the shed. We saw her loading the shotgun in earlier. We see her crying like her makeup's all runny, and she just yells at someone to stop, who I assume is Tyler, maybe like to stop running, but it could also be this evil spirit we saw earlier that maybe that's trying to possess Marianne, and maybe like she's trying to tell it to stop and like convince Tyler to run before it takes her over again and tries to kill him. But I don't know, and that's literally the last shot we have in the Tell Me Why launch trailer, and excited for the fact that Chapter 1 will be released on August 27th, and then every week after that, Dontnod's confirmed that Chapters 2 and 3 will be released on a weekly basis. So Chapter 1 is coming August 27th, we're going to get Chapter 2 a week later on September 3rd, and then the final chapter, Chapter 3, will be released a week after that on September 10th. And so, that's pretty much it. Now, all I'm going to do is just pretty much go over the rest of the fact that I haven't answered yet, and see what we can learn from that. Now we're going to go on to the rest of the fact that I did not mention earlier on in this video. So again, this is going to be your final spoiler warning, and this will contain a lot of minor spoilers for Tell Me Why. So if you, again, want to go into this any less spoilered, please do not watch the rest of this video. So, aside from some mild stuff like what's the gameplay, or there'll be non-English language versions of the game, the next thing that is discussed in this Tell Me Why fact is, Tell Me Why will feature multiple endings. Is it possible for Tyler to have a bad ending in Tell Me Why? Now, of course, they answer this because, of course, there are going to be people who might be triggered thinking that, oh, because a lot of media like to depict, like, gay and trans people, like, they get, like, tortured or get, like, bad endings in fiction. So they're wondering, oh, so is Tyler gonna get a bad ending? Are we gonna have a bad ending for our transgender character? And Dontnod responds, every ending of Tell Me Why will feature an optimistic future for Tyler. What may change based on a player's choices, though, is Tyler's relationship with his twin sister Allison, where his journeys take him after the events of the game, and much more. Because so many mainstream narratives about trans people are rooted in pain or trauma, it was important to our team to tell a different, more multi-dimensional story with Tyler. We hope you enjoy everything Tyler's story has to offer. This is something I am very, very happy about, because, like Dontnod says right here, that there, in many stories that involve trans characters, these stories use their transgender identity as sort of like a root of trauma, or a way to explain trauma that happened in that character's past. And it's interesting to see Dontnod say this, hey, yeah, okay, we get it, that a lot of transgender characters in stories, they're transgender because it helps explain their trauma that was in there. And I think that's kind of a harmful stereotype, but I understand that it happens in media lately. And to see Dontnod go to say, no, well, you know what? We're going to make a story about a transgender character, but not have their childhood trauma be influenced or influence their decision to be transgender. So I'm really happy. And this is kind of a spoiler, though, to say that there is no real bad ending in Tell Me Why. The only thing that they said, though, that, yeah, Tyler's gonna be good no matter what ending you pick. The only bad thing that'll happen with Tyler, basically, is really whether he'll be, like, closer to Allison or be distant, if he goes to do something else instead of something else. So, yeah, it's really just so, basically, the endings, I guess, are gonna be, what will Tyler and Allison's bond be at the end of the game, and then what will Tyler and Allison do at the end of the game. Those were, I think, the different endings for Tell Me Why are going to be. After that, we have two final questions regarding the character Michael, who was the Talinga character, a friend of Allison's that was mentioned in this Tell Me Why depicting transphobia against Tyler question. So, in this second last question, Dontnod asks, does Tell Me Why depict homophobia against Michael, a queer Talingan man? Yes, as explains here, Michael is a gay character that will be in this game, and to answer that question, Dontnod responds with, no, Tell Me Why will not depict any homophobia against Michael. In one optional scene in Chapter 2, though, Michael will briefly describe his own words some of the homophobia he has experienced while living in Delos Crossing, and how he took steps to surround himself with people who accepted him, but those events will not take place during the game. Along with that, during the final question, does Tell Me Why depict any violence against Michael? And Dontnod just explains no, that Tell Me Why will not feature any violence against Michael for being gay. So, yeah, the only thing you really have to worry about is that Michael will mention that he faced homophobia prior to the events of the game, but the game won't directly show any homophobia happening in the game. But that's pretty much it after that. And so that was my everything you need to know about video for Tell Me Why, the next narrative episodic adventure game from Dontnod Entertainment, the creators of the Life is Strange franchise. As I said earlier, we are just 3 days away from the release of Chapter 1 of Tell Me Why on August 27th for Xbox One and PC, and then Chapter 2 will be released a week later on September 3rd, and then Chapter 3 a week after that on September 10th. So are you guys excited to jump back into a Dontnod game and try to get that good old Life is Strange fix you were hoping for? If you like this video and can't wait to see me do a Let's Play of Tell Me Why when it comes out, be sure to like, comment, and of course subscribe, and I will see you guys later.